So with today's webinar, we'll be exploring a little bit more the best practice for a smooth employee onboarding. So on the admin perspective, what you need to start building. Today I have David Hamad with me, one of our BindTuning developer. So for this webinar, the agenda will be the best practice and the initial setup of Microsoft Teams, the proper structure for an employee onboarding space in Microsoft Teams, and how to extend the basic capabilities of Teams with rich apps to create a seamless and engaging experience for users. Of course, we'll be having a sessions for questions and answers. You can always leave your answers on the panel, the chat panel, and we'll be answering them at the end. So you can request a demo for Microsoft Teams just by screening the QR code that we have on the screen right now, or on the chat window there for you. You just need to click it and you start it. So with no further, I'll start.
Okay. Good morning or good afternoon to everyone. Over here, and what we're going to build is pretty much an onboarding system on our Microsoft Teams. And today we're going to pretty much be a Teams administrator, which will create this team with a channel named General. And the objectives are to driving new employees, helping integration of new hires of the company, and get advantage of already some content that has been used on our internet. So these were the requests that the app reached to the admin. So they want a starting point from these new hires. They want as well a point of contact. So if people need to reach out to someone, they have a contacts list. They have as well some documentation. They want new hires to access on. There is on Office 365 a lot of resources. So what we're gonna make available for them as well is a quick access. Then we're gonna to leverage as well the important alerts that are displayed on the internet, and we're gonna take them for Microsoft Teams. The same will happen with the news. So they are published, and we want our new hires to understand the news. Then for the last two options, we're gonna to create a system where people can check the product portfolio, and then we also making training sessions calendar where people can check when they gonna have when the organization will have these training sessions. So now let's get back to the demo. Okay, so first thing is to create this particular team. We don't have that on our Microsoft Teams. And for that, we just go create a team and then create a team. I didn't mention, but everything is already installed on the environment, so we're gonna start from there. Over here, we'll create a team. Not here, building from scratch. It will be a private team, so no one can access that immediately, and they have to ask us to actually add that people. And this is something that we'll show as well in the future. So over here we'll make onboarding, and now it's created pretty much. It will create for us all the assets, and now we can skip because we're gonna have the new users on the other sessions. So right now we have created the team. By default, it will have absolutely nothing. And what we're gonna do right now is start to adding our web parts. So for the first one and for the starting points, I will have this accordion web part. This is a BindTuning web part. Over here, it's not required for us to actually post that on the tab. So I will just create the regular tab. And the first thing, this web part is connected to a list, so I will create this list. And right now we can start to creating the new items. So the first thing I will as well, I have already some content created. So our first option will be a message, a welcome message, and this will be our welcome message for this scenario. Over here, I will make this not be collapsed, so everyone that access this for the first time, they see this as an item that is always visible on the page. The second option now, it will be over here to have this particular title. Introduce the organization. Okay, and the content of this will be this. Okay, by default, when you open this this web part, allow you to allow you to pretty much build a custom HTML code, which will be great in cases that you need to more advanced features. Over here, for example, I have created the links. This option we can now activate, and when we come over here, we can now have the links, which will redirect us for some points that we have already pre-inspected, which will help you to build this introduction for your organization, and this will be the starting point from our new hires. And then I will also rename these so people understand this is the starting point, and they know they will be always starting from here. So pretty much this is first configuration, and now we're gonna go to the second one, and for the second one we're gonna to be our revealed contacts. And for this particular option, we're going to use the people web part, which will allow you to retrieve information from your SharePoint and Office 365, and then display this on view, where we can, for example, check the emails, we can check the numbers very easily. The first thing that I will do is renaming the tab for relevant contacts, and then I will use these persons. So these will be two different users. One is Megan, and the other will be Alan. So Alan is from IT department in case that you need something for IT, and the other one is marketing management manager, which will help you, for example, in more to understand the social aspects of the products and so on. Over here, what we're going to have is numbers if we need to reach out to them. Of course, we can always use Microsoft Teams to actually chat with Alan or even Megan, but we can also do in traditional ways with this email and with the phones. And we also can check more about these particular persons. So the second option is going to be the documents. We will connect this to document library. So over here we will use this. So we're going to use the documents web part over here. Let me just here rename again for documents. So these will be the documents that people will have on their so starting documents pretty much. And over here, I will make this to be connecting to this particular site. So this will be onboarding. And by default, this document library will have, it will be empty because I didn't have any item on this particular general chat. And I am connecting here to the document library in case that I have, and I will for sure having extra channels. All the items will be visible over here. And right now, what they're going to use on this particular sample is to using over here this upload method, which gonna upload my documents. I have already saved some that again the department team already sent to me these documents that are required to be uploaded. And right now we are uploading them. They are finished. If you go back to this particular document library, then these documents will appear. And over here, I forget to activate a feature that we have over here that allow us to actually search for document. And for example, when I come over here and if I want to, over here we just have a small example, but if we need to find in 50, 10, 100 documents and a document which is designed for hotel, we just have to type and it will highlight the specific document that we have, which of course will help us to actually reach out to the documents a lot faster. Moving on for the other web part that we're going to use, it will be the Office 365 resources. And for this one, we're going to use the tiles, BindTuning tiles web part. Over here, what we have done on our internet was configuring this web part to be used for the internals. And over here, what I'm gonna do is pretty much connect to that particular tiles link. And of course, with this, we'll take leverage what we have already built and translate that to Microsoft Teams. This will help a lot in cases that you already have some content built, and this will help as well to having a mix between the content, and you can always take leverage to have this on SharePoint and also on Microsoft Teams. Right now, if I click, for example, OneDrive, it will open the OneDrive of this particular, in my case, Megan, and it will as well happens with any other item that I have on this particular list. So the next option, it will be the alerts company. Again, this is something that we have already created on our intranet. So we have, our company has a way to publish alerts for every single person on the organization. And over here, we will use the exact same approach that we have used for the tiles. So over here, we'll connect to the list, which is this alerts internet. And in our case over here, we are alerting the persons when it's going to be the next Christmas dinner. It's close. And then we have as well the key 4. It is starting earlier this month, and it will be ending on the 31 December, and as well to submit the holidays for the next week, for the next year. So let me just remove this as well for alerts company. Typically over here, if we need to, for example, building a new alert, the flexibility that we have as admin is if we publish here, it will also update on the internet, and we just have one central way to aggregate all the different content. So the next one, it will be the news web part, and over here on this particular web part, it will require some more configuration. And what we have is we have a site, 2 sites that we want to get information from, and this is exactly what we're gonna do to build. So I will just name this news, and then I will connect to two different sites. So one, it will be sites HR, which we have already building. We already have content there, and we will make the mapping. Let me just come in here to making this easier. And I will show you as well the final result. Of all of these comments, we will, of course, share with you the video, and you can follow this slowly. Pretty much what we are doing over here is to creating on the actual web part. So we have created news on this particular site, HR, and what we are doing is pretty much making the connection between what is on the SharePoint, and then bring those news directly to the web part. Okay, it's almost there. Okay, over here, I'm missing this part, and over here, this query as well is where you can filter and say to that you just want just want the what is published as news, and with that we'll make sure that only this type of information is displaying on the web part rather than everything that you have on this particular library. Okay, just one couple more. Okay. Over here we are using the created by, and we will see, and what I'm going to show as well is the flexibility that you have for example, changing the way that the web part is displaying the content. You can change that easily, and as well, if you go back to your if you go to your SharePoint, you can actually see more about this particular news. So over here, for example, this one, it will open the site for HR, and this was the new published by someone, in this case, Megan. If I go, for example, for this one, you can see it different URL. So this one is pulling from HR, and this one is from operations. For example, you can see in our case that we have some new hardware coming up for the firm. The flexibility of these web parts allow you, for example, to switch between different layouts. And of course, with that, you can have different ways to show the content. And of course, you can, because the web parts connect to any list, you can make different configurations. Moving on for the other web part now will be the filters one. This one, what we're gonna do is pretty much have a central way for our new hires to understand the products that we have inside the company and to actually filter them. And they will, with that, have flexibility in terms of what to understand pretty much what they are actually building. Let me just first create the list. So template list. This template list is something, it's not where your actually information is where you're gonna to have your template. So it's based on what we have added over here. It will create the layout with different with these different tiles. You will see this shortly. Okay, so for the background, we're gonna to use this for the top session. So here we'll use all on bottom section, and then this one it will be for the link. Okay. If I save this now, everything will start to pop up. What I have behind the scenes is a list where I configured all these different controllers, and of course, in this particular case, I am leaving one thing, which is allow me to filter by product type. This what's gonna do is pretty much allow me to, over here on product type, to understand. So we are, this company sells products, TVs, gaming, headphones. So over here we have pretty much a flexibility for us to search, for example, for tablets, if we want tablets, and to understand what we have to sell. We can filter here, and if you click in any of these items, it will open a page where we have the specifications of those items. And we can also, for example, check computers and a lot of different products that we sell on this particular company. Not this one. Moving on to the next one, and the one that we are missing is the training sessions. So go back to Teams. So over here I will make it will be the calendar, because it will allow you to display the content of what is available on this particular calendar. And we're gonna to make this rename. Training sessions, it will be the name, so our new hires understand. And now we're gonna to actually creating the list, the connection. Over here, these training sessions are on HR. And now if once we save this, it will list all the items that we have. On our case, we can see that we have this professional development training. We have as well other different events. And on this particular web part, we can as well switch between categories. And in this case, this one, for example, doesn't have any category. So training category is a new one. So we can, for example, using over here, this category settings, and over here we can use colors to be more identifying of the category, and then we can also use this option to use an icon to be more intuitive and easier for your users to understand the calendar. We have pretty much created this onboarding experience on Microsoft Teams. Of course, we can tweak here and there with more features. So let's now get back to our presentation.
So thank you again, David. Okay. We have just to do a quick review before we start the questions. I see that we have already one question. It was already answered, but we have a new one on the chat window. So let's do the review. If we checked all the items that we said we are going to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for the review, we have, so for the starting point, what we have used was the recording web part to have this welcome message. And for the contacts and most important documents, we have used the people web part. For the documents for the new hires, we have used the documents web part. For the resources on Office 365, where we have those icons, and we have used the tiles. For the alerts, and we have used the alerts web part. For the news that we have of operation and HR, we have used the news web part. For the catalog of products, we have used the filters web part. And finally, for the training sessions, what we have used was the calendar web part.
Okay, so there's a question here. Does this have any impact on the process for updating web parts when new builds are released? Are the package pulled from the SharePoint app catalog into Teams or somewhere else?
Yeah, it will not affect anything in terms of content, and the update will be done with this connector that is sharing pretty much everything that you have on Microsoft Teams, and it will translate to there. Okay.
Okay, anyone else? Do you have any questions? You can always address the questions to us via email or on our social, but if you have anything to ask David directly now, there's your chance. Okay, yeah, just the reminder that the recording will be available for download when it's finished. We'll send an email to you. I guess no one has any other questions. So David, do you want to say anything else before we wrap up?
First, I want to thank you everyone for to join on this session. As Vanessa said, you can always contact us. We will.
Wait, we have another question. Sorry. Is this related a little more to Teams functionality, but is this not accessible via the mobile app? Is it? Can we do it on the mobile app for Teams?
With the current version on the mobile app, there are some issues where this opens likes to be in a web application. So there are some limitations on there, but definitely something that Microsoft will address, and soon we will have the web parts working there correctly.
So, I want to thank you for joining us. Just a reminder, this is Microsoft Teams adoption series. So we'll be having a new webinar in November. It will be a very special one. So don't forget to sign up when we have it online. And if you have any doubts or you want to request a demo for Microsoft Teams and check all the BindTuning apps, you can just scan the QR code or send us an email to info@bindtuning.com. And I hope to see you again in next month, or maybe in a few minutes if you want to join us in our social. Bye, everyone.